Well, hello and welcome to everybody. I'm really happy to see that so many have found this topic interesting. I can say that we have people from 18 countries today, so this will of course be in English. With me today, I have Simon and Alexander, and my name is Rune Wallin, and I'm head of marketing and communication at Audience Project. Just before we hand it over to Simon and to Alexander, just a couple of brief things to set in order. If you have any questions, please feel free to use the question field of the presentation software. We will try to answer as many questions as we can at the end of the presentations, but all of you who we will not have time to answer, we will answer directly, either through the question field or on email afterwards. We will also be recording this session, so we will share it with you afterwards, and then you will have the option to, of course, share this video with everybody who you think will find this interesting. And finally, if you have any other questions or anything else you want to ask us, feel free to reach out through email or Twitter or whatever kind of communication channel you wish to use. So, first of all, I would like to say hello and welcome to Simon. Simon, please tell a bit about yourself and Audience Project.
Yeah, thank you, Rune. My name is Simon Quist. I've been in Audience Project since last autumn. I am the global publishing director for Audience Project, meaning that I am catering, helping out all of our publishing partners and media partners in general. It could also be e-commerce platforms. And I'm also product responsible for the product user report. So that's why it's probably relevant that I'm joining this call today. I just want to give you, and I know this is always some of the mandatory stuff that you want to get over quickly, but it's important for us, since we're more than 100 people listening in on this call at the moment, and it is. We know that many of our clients using UserReport, they are not aware that there is a bigger company behind the product UserReport called Audience Project. So I'm just going to spend 1 minute going through that. We are a privately owned company founded in 2010 with 40 employees in offices in Denmark, Ukraine, Vietnam, of all places. In UK, we just started our first man on the ground in London this last week. And we also have a reseller agreement with a company in Germany, in Munich. We have a global footprint. Our technology, the product UserReport, is used by publishers and media website owners in more than 80 countries. But we have by far, we must admit, the biggest, the strongest foothold in the Nordic region. Across the Nordics, we have more than 43 million cookies with data associated to it. So we're also a data targeting company. We have more than 1 million profile panelists against which we are validating a lot of campaigns every day. And we are recruiting more than 6,000 new panelists worldwide on a daily basis. Across a list of websites counting more than 15,000 sites. So just that gives you a little bit of background. Let's take the next slide. We have 4 core product pillars, you can say, where UserReport as a website analytics product is one of them. And that, obviously that's where we're going to put our emphasis today, this being about a UserReport update. But just in very brief terms, we also have a product for advertising campaign side, which is called Audience Report, that is validating affinity, demographics, and reach on a campaign level. We have audience data, which is targeting data, and we have engagement reports. So we come out of a research background, and therefore it's natural for us to actually measure the brand uplift on advertising on behalf of many agencies and advertisers and publishers. We do that a lot. Next slide. Yeah, and we work with multiple internationally recognized partners, so National Geographic, Coca-Cola, Adform, Beyond, AOL, Aller Media in Norway, Børsen in Denmark, TripAdvisor, Facebook. Yeah, you mentioned. That's fine.
Okay. Thank you, Simon. With us today, we also have Alexander from Less Friction. Alexander, can you tell us a bit about yourself and your company?
Absolutely, thank you, Rune. Yeah, it's going to be a while until I'm on the previous clients slide there, I suppose. Yeah, my name is Alexander, and I'm the CEO of a company called Less Friction, which I also founded about 2 years ago. We are an insights and analytics company, and we have 3 areas that we are focusing on, where the primary is sort of digital business development, where we help our clients developing a digital strategy and put a solid infrastructure in place, and also bone out the performance indexes on how to evaluate the business. Tracking, reporting, and analysis is also another important area of ours, where we help our clients with implementation, funnel analysis, dashboards, leaderboards, and other advanced analytics. And when it comes down to performance, conversion optimization is obviously a very key area for many of our clients. They need to understand how to improve their websites. So we help them with different kinds of testings and personalizations and just hardcore conversion optimizations. The clients that we work with are usually mid to enterprise level clients. And the industry verticals vary quite a lot. It's banking, real estate, car manufacturers, telecom operators, retailers, and such. We also have a non-profit program where we donate 5% of our time to a selected organization. We also work with a couple of strategic partners to further sort of develop value to our clients. Realize that our clients have a lot of ongoing investment with other partners that we team up with to increase sort of the payback on that investment. And the obvious one is the media agency, where they are optimizing acquisition and deliver traffic to a website. On the other hand, you have a system and platform that delivers a technical platform for business enhancement, and it could be anything from data collection to a CMS, and in this case, UserReport. So yeah, that's enough about me. Thank you.
Oh, yeah, thank you, Alexander. Just before we get into the meat of the things, I'd like to reiterate that you are very welcome to ask questions. I can see there's a lot of new users already joined since the last time I said that. So please use the question field if you have any questions in regards to this webinar. So yeah, thank you, Simon. Could you tell us a bit about the new Google integration?
Yes, of course. So UserReport has had an API connection with Google Analytics for quite some time, but we have updated that API connection now, which is going to give you a bunch of new opportunities, which we're quite excited to introduce to you now. Can you take that away?
Yeah.
Sorry, my slide just disappeared. But just in short, UserReport's value proposition, the reason for us existing, is that we see ourselves as an integrated app center of cross-device audience analytics apps, enabling marketeers to generate and monetize trusted audience insights and data. And what's the key point in this is that it's really the word integrated. It's one of our USPs that data, when you work with us, it's not something that gets stuck in a system and is not possible to operationalize and monetize in different ways. On the contrary, we believe that data should be flowing seamlessly across platforms and systems. Yeah, so here are the different systems that are in place. So basically, can you go back one? Thanks. Sure. So you have UserReport, collecting demographic data and interest data about audiences, and then you have Google Analytics. So it's very basic. What are the products that we're talking about? And what this gives you the opportunity now is that you can fuse your Google Analytics data, so you know those standard metrics already. I'm sure all of you are probably using Google Analytics. So visits, average duration, page views, goals, pages per visit, bounce rate. Now you can match that up with not only social demographic data, like occupation, income, do you have kids in your household, education, how many people are in your household, gender, age, but also any question, any data that you are collecting with the branded survey tool in UserReport. So, for example, you could ask, do you have a cat in your household? Are you a pet owner? Or do you? How many cars do you have? Or are you in the market to buy a new car? Are you in the market to go on a holiday in the next 3 months? Or ask for perceptions or opinions or interest to any topic that is relevant to you as a website owner. And then you can break all of that down, and this is how it's broken down in UserReport's new interface. So, for example, if you look in the upper left corner, you can see an example of here survey data plus behavioral data. So, survey data coming from UserReport, behavioral data coming from Google, and you can see here an example of what's the breakdown on behavioral data when you look at men versus women, or you can see the breakdown of different age segments on their behavior on the website. Or on the left side of the screen, you have a couple of examples or one example of a custom question where you ask, do you have a car? Yes or no? And then you can see how many, how do the car owners behave on my website versus the non-car owners. Just to give you a couple of examples. All neatly visualized. Another example here is you can break that down on your e-commerce metrics. So if you're an e-commerce platform, which Alexander is gonna show you even more about how he operationalized this data in a couple of minutes. But you can break down and understand exactly so which type of user is buying what from your website, or which, if it was user acquisition, if you are a content-driven publisher, you can understand exactly which type of user is generating the highest ROI for you. Who's generating the most page views? Is it women? Is it men? Do they have kids in household? What's their income level? Do they have pets? Do they play soccer? Whatever it might be, you can break that down into a very granular level, on a site level, on a section level, if you wanted to, on a different devices. Yeah, next slide. Another example here, fusing referral sources with so that's Google data with our data, which is the household size data. And you can see how many people in households are there for what's the composition of people in household from the different referral sources, and likewise source and then filtered by, do you have children in your family? And what that does for you then is that you can break it down, and you can analyze the data, and it will tell you or give you an opportunity to identify who are the user types, or what are the user types that are generating the most purchases, for example, on your e-commerce platform. Who are the user types that's generating the biggest basket sizes? They might not buy as many times, but they have the biggest basket sizes, so they're also interesting. And who are the users who's having the smallest basket sizes? And then you know, and this is where it becomes interesting, because one thing is knowing this. Okay, that's of course nice, but how can you actually do something about it? How can you leverage that information? And this is where the new integration is quite nice, because where the old integration used to only allow you to push Google data into UserReport and not the other way around, now you can push UserReport data into Google Analytics, and from Google Analytics you can match up your data, work with the data, identify those segments, and you can push it into AdWords. So you can build an acquisition strategy around the most valuable segments for you. You can not only do retargeting of the users who answered A, B, C, or D to a question, but you can also do predicted segments with Google AdWords. So you can find similar users to people who said A, B, C, or D to a specific question. And that's where it becomes a really powerful tool for any website owner, no matter if you're an e-commerce platform or a content-driven publisher. Yeah, so here's an example. In this case, you would, for example, be able to generate a segment around the people who's having the biggest basket sizes, and try to acquire more of this type of user to your website. Just one final note before I'll let Alexander know, before I'll give Alexander the word, so he can tell you exactly how he did this and operationalized it. But when you're having this information, those insights, and you're driving marketing activities through Google AdWords and Google Display Network, you should remember to optimize the landing page of the different segments. So if you're having a segment against, just to make it oversimplified, against women, then the landing destination for that segment should probably be catering more for women than for men, and the other way around. So to give the users a good experience.
Well, thank you, Simon. And as you just said, we have a really interesting case from you, Alexander. So please take it away.
Thank you very much. You can switch to the next slide, please. Right, the Boxer case study. In this case, I'm going to try to reveal how we use the UserReport integration in Google Analytics to connect website activity with digital marketing, and also how we created an interactive dashboard to quickly find actionable insights. Further on, I will try to reveal how this impacted the acquisition strategy when we were able to apply these insights on the programmatic buying. Okay, so for those of you who don't know who Boxer is one of Sweden's largest TV operators. They are a part of the government-owned telecom, delivering TV, digital terrestrial TV. They are investing heavily to grow their digital presence. They're coming from a linear broadcast and moving into other product areas like TV everywhere. So their customers can access the TV offerings over the smartphone, over the tablet, over the computer. So wherever you have your internet connection, you can watch your TV. And we worked with them and are currently working with them as an analytics partner. And so we help them maintaining a solid, valuable analytics platform, as well as conducting various analysis that we've done.
Muted.
And I think it was last October, November, we did a survey where we used the UserReport tool for that survey too. And then as a beta user, we could integrate data into Google Analytics. All right, next slide. We were obviously a team working together to sort of make Boxer grow their business. And apart from the in-house team at Boxer, we also work closely together with their media agency called Screen Media Agency, which is one of the leading Nordic independent media agencies. So we worked in kind of a loop where Boxer gave the media agency the goals, the campaigns, the strategy, and sort of insights on what target groups they wanted to reach, and where the media agency molded that into an acquisition strategy and commenced with the media buying and sort of the ongoing campaign management. And our part in this was looping back insights and analytics and finding and fixing conversion barriers, and sort of looping back that information to Boxer that could then sort of relay that to the media agency. And we all had a pretty good understanding of our own metrics. Everybody was sort of in line, but I mean, we really didn't share a common platform of how to more rapidly gain insights on how to apply changes. So next slide. And since we were all about the what and not about the who, and with that I mean we all looked very closely to our own set of metrics from the media agency, and they looked at campaign performance metrics such as impressions, click-through ratios, so on and so forth. And on our end, we looked a lot a lot on website performance metrics. Okay, how are the average page load times? What are the conversion rates? What are the session lengths, and so on and so forth. And on the Boxer end, they looked at what clients are coming out on the other end. So what we wanted to achieve was that with all the different stakeholders, it was very important that we started to work in the same direction. So we needed to develop an analysis model that we could use across the entire team, so we wasn't too separated between our own sets of data, right? We needed to make it very easy to use because we had a very diverse set of competences around this team, ranging from the marketing directors down to planners and conversion optimizers. Easy access was also very, very important, especially since a lot of the team members weren't actively using Google Analytics. We understood that, okay, we need to pull the insights and analytics out of Google Analytics and sort of deliver it to the user. And it obviously needed to be actionable. Okay, so where did we start? Well, it all sort of, we had an idea when we had a joint meeting that we need to create some kind of platform. We need to connect the dots between website data and marketing data and the BI data. So we needed to find a common set of dimensions and metrics that we could use across all these silos. Whereas Boxer using the BI data, the media agency used the media strategy data, Adform for targeting data, and we used the website data. So across these data silos, we were able to identify, okay, what are the most common dimension that we could use, and it all came down to the demographic data. So next slide. We settled on that. Okay, we can use the demographic dimension data and with the attributes age and gender, because that was a piece of data that we can find throughout all the different data silos, and that would also give us a meaning that we can understand the impact of our communication based on those attributes. We could also validate the reach that we had in our marketing based on those attributes, where we have an idea of who we want to reach, and then connecting that back to the website data and see how many of these selected target groups did actually end up on our website. And we can use that data to identify new valuable target groups, where Boxer had a very good understanding of, okay, who's our core user and who is not so present in our portfolio. Okay, so next slide. Okay, once we have identified what common set of attributes that we could work with, we needed to set some metrics to evaluate our performance. And for me, it's so important to keep it simple, to keep it understandable, not sort of going into a data frenzy and adding on too many metrics, because that will rarely sort of give meaning to the analysis. It will clutter the analysis. More choose your most relevant KPIs. That's also going to connect very well to your insights. And we wanted those metrics to be able to evaluate both on-site performance as well as acquisition strategy. So we landed on sessions, which is an obvious one. Okay, what can we work with? The conversion rates, how well are we performing from an offering perspective, and also from a website performance perspective. And then we added a calculated metric, which is session value. So we calculated an average value of each session to see, okay, at what value are the different target groups converting, to see are they buying low-end products or are they buying the high-end products. But in order to make the analysis contextual, we needed to add movement over time, so a time-lapse function. looking at how these different target groups behaved according to these metrics over time. And I have a little movie strip that I'm going to show you later to sort of help you understand how this works. Okay, next slide. Okay, once we've sort of come down to our dimension and metrics, it was all about how we're going to build this. And we already said that, okay, we're not going to do it in Google Analytics because so many of our users weren't using Google Analytics on a day-to-day basis. So it was better for us to sort of have the push the data to the user approach. So and since we had data from UserReport survey to complement the GA data, we kind of used that to create our segments. And all the data was properly tagged in GA as well, both from an e-commerce perspective, but also from a marketing perspective. Then we exported the data to Google Sheets using a plugin. So we connected directly to the API and could have set it to automatically refresh. And then from there we could build out our chart, which we could publish on a website that we did and made that accessible to the team. Next slide. Okay, so we used what looks like a common bubble chart, where the x-axis is the number of sessions, the y-axis is your conversion rates, and the bubble size is the session value. And here we split up all the different target groups in age and gender brackets, and that's the different bubbles that you see. But to make it something that you can look at over time and sort of find insights, we made it interactive, so we can spot any changes to our target groups. So whenever time went by, you could press the play button and see the little bubbles move in any direction or increase or decrease in size, sort of giving you an insight. Okay, we've done this. Where is this target group moving based on that? Next slide. So what you want to do with this model is identify where your different target groups are at the moment, where you want to move them. So basically, you want to move all of your bubbles as close to the upper right quadrant as possible, because there you have a high number of sessions and you have a high conversion rate. And from there, you can start working with your bubble size, so moving them from a low-end product to a high-end product. On your upper left-hand side, you have your high-value prospects. So those are target groups where you haven't very many sessions, but you have a high conversion rate, so you can sort of start working on your acquisition strategy. On your lower right-hand side, you have high potential audience. So it's somebody that you've already managed to attract to your website. You're just not really managing to convert them in a substantial way. And from the lower left-hand corner, that's your bad spot. You should just stay away from there. That's not a good place to be. Next slide, please. So, in order to be able to clarify the model and how we worked around together, this model is sort of dividing the different quadrants in sort of areas of responsibility. Whereas the media agency, their obvious task is to drive traffic to the websites. So once we have identified our high valuable prospects, they can start working on acquiring more of those. And on your upper right-hand quadrant, that's the Boxer responsibility to make our clients more profitable, to maybe align the offering or the communication on site. And on the lower right-hand side, where you have a lot of visitors or sessions, but very low conversion rates, you should start trying to work with increasing the conversion rate, of course. And on your low left-hand side, you really need to evaluate. If you have a lot of bubbles down there, you need to reevaluate what's your strategy. Okay, we are not attracting too many visitors. we are not converting them. We are doing something wrong. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, when and what did we do based on this? So we worked around this model and said, okay, we're going to try to identify what to work with, who should do what and when should we do it. And since we did some analysis and in conjoint with Boxer, we understood that the more senior target groups or segments were very highly represented customer of Boxer, and thus we saw a very low conversion rate of them because they were already customers, so they were heading to the website to find out other things. So we said, okay, we're not going to focus on increasing the conversion rate. We're rather going to look at our potential new target groups. So we did that. We identified our high-value target groups, and this is what I circled around here, which was the female 18 to 24 target group. And what we did was that we increased and allocated budget to those areas to try to increase the number of sessions, because obviously they were converting on the website into sellings. And to make sure that we didn't lose traction or dropped in conversion, we created a landing page catered for that specific target group. And then we started that, and we just monitored the conversion rate over time to see that we weren't lacking anything. And I've made, since the chart is interactive, so we could look at it on a weekly basis and see how these different bubbles moved across the chart. And every movement, it's indicative of something. If the bubble size decreases, you're losing value on your sessions. If it's moving up or down, you're increasing or decreasing your conversion rate. So what you want to see is the bubbles moving to your upper right-hand corner. So let's look at the little movie strip there and see what happened. And I trailed the outlined one here, so you can see the movement of that one. So what we see here is that the female target group that we sort of went after and tried to acquire more sessions, it actually moved in the right direction, and it did that without significantly dropping in conversion rate, and that means that we've acquired more sales over that period of time. So next slide, please. Yeah, connecting back to what I previously said, we managed to attract more high converting sessions over that period of time, resulting in more sales, and that was very, very good because it was a previously untapped target group for Boxer. They had no idea that they had an offering that would connect so much to that specific demographic group. Okay, next slide, please. Okay, where did we take it from there? Well, since what I've showed you was sort of a pilot, a proof of concept. Could we work like this? Would it be beneficial for other teams? Could we take action on it? And since it really proved working, we started to further develop the model and created various subsets of dashboards on more granular dimensions where we can really cut down and really understand how different segments or target groups behaved over time. We also started mapping out different campaign events to the timeline, so it would be even more understandable from, say, a marketing director perspective. When he sees a bubble moving in a direction, you want to give him feedback. Okay, we implemented this offer here, and then we continue to use it to align and validate the acquisition strategy, and are still doing that very successfully. So yeah, all in all, it was a very interesting experiment that proved very, very valuable. So yeah, that's
unmuted
the case study from my end.
Well,
thank you very much, guys.
Yeah, thank you, Alexander. I think that's really interesting, and I can see we have some questions. So I think that there's other people also who's also finding this interesting. I think that we'll start out with the questions to you, Alexander. So
sure.
One of the questions that we got is if this is made entirely in Google Sheets, and how the integration works with Google Analytics?
Yeah, the integration between Google Sheets and Google Analytics is very, very straightforward. It's an add-on, where you just install a new Google Sheet and you can pull data from Google Analytics through an API, and you can also set it to automatically update. So it's no technical development at all to do that.
Okay. We also have another question. Could this work for a news site?
Oh, absolutely. I think it's the key benefits of this is that you get direct feedback for what you do. So, I mean, in a launching scenario, this would be perfect if you have a model like this and you push the button on your marketing and sort of see your audience coming in. You will get direct feedback in a very tangible way. So, absolutely.
Okay, thank you. I also have one question myself, actually, if that's okay. I was wondering, with the possibility to create your own questions through the UserReport, could you see some scenarios where that could be could make sense for e-commerce to use that kind of data?
Oh, absolutely. Since you can use your own questions to create your own segment models, because maybe to your age and gender demographics, or even geolocation. So you could really be creative and make it really sort of close to your own business with creating your own sets of dimensional metrics.
Okay, thank you.
So I see that really, really beneficial.
Yeah, cool. Simon also got a couple of questions for you. The first one is from a user already using UserReport, who asks, do I need to implement new code to integrate UserReport with Google Analytics?
Oh yeah, that's a good question. No, you don't need to implement a new code snippet. You can keep the one that you have already implemented. But however, you do need to reconnect your Google Analytics connection so that you are able to transfer the different dimensions over. So you have to disconnect and then reconnect, and then the instructions on the website it's pretty straightforward.
Okay, and another question. Can I use data anywhere else than Google Analytics?
Yes, you can. You can download your data into a spreadsheet. You can also collect email addresses from UserReport. And thirdly, we are more than you can have that data activated in the rest of our core products. So an audience report validating campaigns, or an audience data, which is our targeting product. So we can help you make predictions against different audience sections, both to filter ad impressions, but also on an e-commerce from an e-commerce perspective, to optimize the content on a website so that it's always matching the individual lists that are coming in.
Thank you. I think that's all the questions that we have time to right now. Actually, sorry, we have one question which I actually think is really good, so we will also ask that. Will I lose any data if I reconnect my Google Analytics account?
No, you certainly won't lose any data.
Okay, we can. That's actually something in our FAQ about that, so you can go read that if you need more information in that regards. Well, I think I would like to say thank you so much, Simon, and thank you so much, Alexander. It was a pleasure having you both on board for this presentation. And to all the participants, feel free to mail us with questions or do it on Twitter. Alexander's contact information's on the screen right now, and you will also have received a mail from me. So please get in contact if you have more questions. Anyways, that's all for now. Bye.
Bye.